Hey everyone, and welcome to our deep dive today.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to be looking at AI and dating.
Okay,
It's
yeah.
everywhere you look these days. And
Right.
we found a really interesting podcast episode we wanted to take a closer look at.
Cool.
Basically kind of lay out all the different ways AI is being used now
Yeah.
to help people find love or at least, go on more dates.
Mm-hmm.
So we want to look at what are the potential benefits, but also what are the downsides?
Sure.
And really help you guys listening figure out could AI actually help you in your own dating life?
Yeah, sounds good.
So this podcast episode we're looking at
Okay.
starts out with this guy, Alex,
Mm-hmm.
who decides he's going to let ChatGPT be his wingman.
Oh, wow.
So he finds this girl's profile on a dating app, right?
Yeah.
Feeds it to ChatGPT and says hey, write me an opener that'll really impress her.
Mm-hmm.
And ChatGPT comes back with this line.
Okay.
Your love for hiking and horror movies is the plot twist I've been waiting for.
Oh.
What do you think?
Well, I mean, it's kind of clever, I guess.
Right.
But also maybe a little cheesy.
Yeah, it's like trying a little too hard.
Yeah.
But the real kicker is the woman's response.
Oh, what happened?
She calls him out,
No way.
asks him straight up, did you use ChatGPT to write that?
Oh, my God.
And then unmatched him.
How?
Talk about a digital burn, right?
Yeah.
But it does raise this question of is it misleading to use AI for this?
Right.
Are you being authentic if a machine is writing all your messages?
It's a good question, and I think it's kind of a gray area.
Right.
I mean, on the one hand, some people might say it's no different than, asking a friend for fashion advice or getting help with your resume.
Sure.
You're just using a tool to present your best self.
Yeah.
But then again, there's something to be said for expressing yourself genuinely,
Totally.
even if it's a little awkward sometimes.
Right. And this episode also talks about apps like Riz and Voller that are specifically made to help you up your dating app game
Yeah, I've heard of those.
using AI.
Right. They use NLP,
And
natural language processing.
Okay.
So they analyze your past conversations and learn how you talk.
Interesting.
And then they can suggest responses or even write whole messages for you.
Whoa, that's kind of wild.
Yeah.
It's like having a digital Cyrano de Bergerac
Right.
whispering sweet nothings in your ear.
Exactly.
But doesn't that create kind of an uneven playing field?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
What about the people who choose not to use those tools?
Yeah, it definitely raises questions about fairness and authenticity.
Mm-hmm.
And it leads us to another really interesting development.
Okay.
Virtual dating assistants.
Virtual dating assistants.
Yeah, have you heard about this?
That sounds kind of intense.
So there's this app called Teaser AI.
Okay.
And basically you can interact with AI versions of potential matches before you decide to connect with them in real life.
So it's like a digital predate.
Exactly. It's supposed to give you a sense of their personality and see if there's a spark.
I don't know. Part of me thinks that's really cool.
Yeah.
But part of me is also a little creeped out.
I get it. I mean, what if you build this amazing connection with the AI version,
Right?
and then the real person is totally different?
It'd be like a Black Mirror episode or something.
Totally.
You fall in love with this perfect AI.
And then the real person shows up and they're nothing like their AI.
Exactly. And you're stuck with them. Oh, that's a nightmare.
But okay, maybe let's step back from the dystopian future for a sec.
Right. Yeah, good idea.
So there's also this thing called AI dating coaches.
Right.
So instead of writing messages for you,
Mm-hmm.
they analyze your conversations and give you feedback.
I see.
They might point out if you're using too many emojis or if you're taking too long to respond.
Yeah, or if your messages are just boring.
Right.
They can help you sound more engaging and flirtatious.
It's like having a personal dating coach.
Right, in your pocket,
Exactly.
giving you advice.
So do you think that's helpful? I mean, it could be especially for people who are new to dating apps
Okay.
or who struggle with social anxiety.
Sure.
But I also wonder if it takes away from the spontaneity,
Right.
the organic flow of conversation.
Is it really you anymore if you're just following the AI's instructions?
Exactly. That's a good question.
But the AI is dictating how we express ourselves.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But there's also this other thing that's really interesting to me.
What's that?
Some of these AI coaches go beyond just surface level advice.
Oh, really? Yeah.
They use something called sentiment analysis.
Sentiment analysis?
Yeah.
So what is that?
It's basically AI that can read the emotions behind the words.
Whoa, so it can tell if someone's actually interested.
Or bored or even annoyed.
Based on how their text.
Exactly.
That's crazy.
It looks at things like your language, your punctuation, even the emojis you use.
Wow.
And it can give you really nuanced feedback.
Mm-hmm.
So you understand not just what you're saying, but how it's coming across.
So it's like an emotional intelligence decoder ring.
Exactly. I don't know. I'm both fascinated and a little creeped out by that.
I totally get it. I mean, it's like AI is getting so good at reading us.
Yeah.
But I guess that's the thing about AI, right? It can be both incredibly helpful and a little unsettling.
Totally.
And that's why we need to approach it with a critical eye.
Right, like weigh the benefits and the challenges.
Exactly.
Well, I think we've covered a lot in this first part of our deep dive.
Yeah, we've talked about how AI is being used to write messages, analyze conversations, and even coach us on our dating etiquette.
But there's still so much more to explore.
Right.
Like, how is AI changing the whole dating landscape?
Yeah, like what are the bigger picture implications?
And are we heading towards a future where algorithms are calling all the shots in love?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Okay. Welcome back to our deep dive into AI and dating.
All right, so last time we were talking about how AI is changing, like how we chat and present ourselves online.
Right, all that messaging.
Yeah, exactly. But now I kind of want to get into the brains of the operation.
Okay, you mean like the algorithms?
Yeah, the algorithms, like they've always been the secret sauce of dating apps, right?
Oh, totally. But AI is taking them to a whole new level.
So what's changed? Like, is AI just crunching more data or?
It's more than just data. It's about understanding it.
Okay.
Like traditional algorithms were all about basic criteria, you know.
Right. Age, location, interests.
Exactly. That likes long walks on the beach kind of stuff.
Yeah, which we all know how accurate that can be.
Uh-huh.
Right. So how is AI different?
Well, AI can analyze massive data sets and find these subtle patterns that humans might miss, and then use that to predict compatibility.
So instead of matching people who both like hiking,
Right.
it might look for deeper connections.
Exactly, like shared values or communication styles.
So how does it do that?
Well, for example, it can analyze your messaging patterns.
Okay.
Things like the length of your messages, how long it takes you to respond, even the emojis you use.
Oh.
And then it compares that to other users to find people who communicate in a similar way.
It's like the AI is reading our digital body language.
Kind of, yeah. And it can also look at your social media activity,
Okay.
even your browsing history, to build a more complete picture of you.
Hold on, browsing history.
Yeah.
That feels kind of intrusive.
It definitely raises privacy concerns, which is
Yeah.
why transparency is so important. Users need to know what data is being used and how.
Okay, fair enough. But going back to the algorithms themselves,
Yeah.
how do they actually work? It all seems very mysterious.
It is complex, but basically it's using data to make predictions.
Okay.
Like the AI learns from all this data and finds patterns that we might not see.
So like if the AI notices that people who like a certain type of music also tend to have similar personality traits.
Exactly. It can use that to suggest matches.
So it's all about finding those hidden connections.
Right. And the more data it has, the more accurate it gets.
Okay, that makes sense. But what about the human element? You know, can an algorithm really predict chemistry or attraction?
That's a great question. And it's important to remember that AI isn't magic.
Right.
It can't guarantee a perfect match or predict the future of a relationship.
So it's more about increasing the odds.
Exactly. Giving you a better starting point.
Okay.
It's a tool to help you navigate all the possibilities out there.
So AI can help you filter through all the noise,
Right?
find people who share your values, your interests,
And your communication style.
but ultimately spark the chemistry that's still up to the humans.
Absolutely. AI can make the introduction, but the rest is up to you.
That's good to hear. I was getting a little worried there.
Uh-huh.
But even if AI can't predict true love, it seems like it's getting pretty good at predicting what we find attractive.
Right. The podcast mentioned how some apps are using AI to analyze facial features.
Yeah, I read about that.
So it can assess facial symmetry expressions, even perceived attractiveness based on things like skin tone.
Isn't that a little risky?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Like, couldn't that reinforce existing biases about beauty standards?
Absolutely. That's one of the big ethical challenges.
Right.
We need to make sure that AI is promoting inclusivity, not perpetuating harmful stereotypes.
I agree. And it makes me wonder, even if we can create AI that's unbiased, will people use it in a biased way?
Oh, that's a good point.
Like, will we just end up using AI to confirm our own preconceived notions?
It's definitely something to think about.
Okay, so we've talked about how AI is analyzing our communication,
Right.
predicting compatibility, and even assessing physical attractiveness. But what about the bigger picture? Like, how is this changing the whole dating landscape?
Well, one of the biggest impacts is that it's making dating more efficient and personalized.
So.
Instead of endlessly swiping through profiles,
Right.
AI can help you focus on matches who are more likely to align with you.
So it's like having a personal matchmaker.
Exactly.
Curating your dating experience.
Yeah. Right, which can be a huge time saver, especially for busy people.
Yeah, that makes sense. But aren't we risking becoming too reliant on these algorithms?
That's a good point.
Like what happens to serendipity? Those unexpected encounters that can lead to amazing connections.
You're right. We don't want to let algorithms dictate our choices or limit our possibilities.
So it's about finding that balance.
Exactly. Using AI to guide us, but also leaving room for spontaneity.
Okay, I like that. And this leads to another interesting aspect.
What's that?
Personalized dating experiences.
Oh, yeah. This is cool.
Tell me more.
So imagine a dating app that not only suggests matches,
Yeah.
but also tailors the whole experience to you.
Whoa.
Like, it customizes everything, the profiles you see, the icebreaker questions.
So it's creating a unique journey for each user.
Exactly. And it can even evolve with you.
What do you mean?
Like, AI can track your interactions, your feedback, and constantly refine the experience to make it more engaging.
That's kind of mind-blowing.
Yeah, it's like something out of a sci-fi movie.
It is. I'm both excited and a little terrified.
Uh-huh. I get it. It's a lot to take in.
It is, but it's important to have these conversations, right?
Absolutely.
To explore both the good and the bad.
Exactly.
Well, I think we've covered a ton in this part.
Yeah, we've gone from basic criteria to complex algorithms that assess everything.
From communication styles to facial features.
But the core question remains, how do we make sure AI enhances our connections?
Rather than replacing them.
Right, and that's what we'll be talking about in the final part of our deep dive.
Stay with us as we delve into the future of AI in dating and what it all means for society. Welcome back to the final part of our deep dive.
All right, so we've talked about AI writing our best pickup lines and algorithms playing matchmaker.
Yeah, and it's kind of a lot to process.
It is, but as AI's role in dating grows, we got to ask ourselves some tougher questions.
About the future we're creating.
Exactly.
We've touched on some ethical concerns, but let's dive a little deeper.
Okay.
What are some of the potential pitfalls we need to watch out for?
Well, one that keeps coming up is data privacy.
Okay.
I mean, these AI systems are gathering tons of info about us.
Right.
Our preferences, our behaviors, even our emotions.
It's kind of creepy when you think about it.
Yeah, and it raises questions about who owns that data,
right?
How securely it's being stored, and what else it might be used for.
Yeah, it's one thing to share your hobbies on a profile, but it's another thing entirely to have an AI analyzing your every move.
Exactly, and it's not just about protecting our data from misuse.
Okay.
It's about making sure these algorithms respect our autonomy.
What do you mean?
Like, we don't want to live in a world where AI is calling all the shots, deciding who we date and how we interact.
Yeah, there's something magical about the unknown, those unexpected encounters that lead to love.
Totally, and that brings us to another potential pitfall.
Okay.
The erosion of authenticity.
Oh, that's interesting.
Like, if we're relying on AI to write our messages, choose our matches, guide our conversations, are we losing that genuine connection?
Yeah, it's like trading realness for convenience.
Exactly. And there's something to be said for stumbling through a conversation.
Right.
For the awkward laughs and the shared vulnerability.
Those are the things that make us human.
And it's not just about the early stages of dating.
Oh, so you're saying this could affect long-term relationships too?
Right. Imagine couples being constantly monitored by algorithms.
Okay.
Getting feedback on their communication or suggestions for improvement.
It's like having a digital couples therapist.
Yeah. But does that help or hurt?
Right. Does it undermine our ability to work through things ourselves?
It's a tough question. Where do we draw the line?
Between AI enhancing our relationships and controlling them.
Exactly. It's kind of philosophical.
It is. Where does the AI end and the human begin?
And that's a conversation we need to be having as a society.
Right.
As AI gets smarter, we need to set boundaries.
Make sure it serves us, not the other way around.
Exactly. But amidst all these concerns, we can't forget the potential benefits.
Oh, right. Like making dating more accessible.
Exactly. For people with social anxiety or disabilities, AI can help them overcome barriers and connect with others.
And it can challenge our own biases.
Right. Helping us see beyond the surface and consider matches we might have overlooked.
So it's not all doom and gloom.
Definitely not. AI can be a force for good in dating,
It's all about how we use it.
Exactly. It's a tool, and like any tool,
Right.
it can be used for good or bad.
It's up to us to decide how we want to wield it.
To shape it in a way that aligns with our values.
So the key takeaway here is that AI is a tool, and we get to decide how it shapes our love lives.
Well said.
So as you navigate this world of love and algorithms,
Yeah.
what role do you want AI to play in your own dating life?
Are you open to the possibilities or wary of the risks?
There's no right or wrong answer.
The important thing is to think critically about the choices you make.
Remember, you have the power to shape the future of dating.
Absolutely. Well, I think that about wraps up our deep dive.
It's been a wild ride exploring the intersection of AI and love.
It has.
We hope you found this conversation insightful and maybe even a little thought-provoking.
And that you'll approach this new world of dating with both curiosity and caution.
Until next time, stay curious, stay connected, and stay true to yourselves.